What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Burndown YouTube channel. Before we get started today, I want to let you all know that it is Mental Health Awareness Month, and on top of that, my boy John Chase from Destroyer Clothing, John Chase Studios, is donating all the proceeds from his line Destroyer to Children's Mental Health Awareness. He is partnered with a nonprofit organization that specializes in children's mental health. That is his whole mission statement, his whole goal. So this is his big month and his big push where he donates the proceeds from his Destroyer clothing line to children's mental health. He also has some really cool giveaways that he's doing. He has some sign print art pieces and things like that that you guys can win or whatever when you buy clothing. But the name of the game and the main thing is that we get as many kids as much help as they need, because we got to grow good kids so we have great adults that hopefully make the world a better place. So go help him out. I don't get anything for giving this PSA for anybody that wants to complain about me having sponsors and people that are in my corner, but I will tell you what, I will always support the people that support me. I'm gonna go buy some flops. He has these really cool monster flops. I think me and the boy are gonna get those to support. We're gonna get some cool flip-flops, and hopefully some of that money goes to help some children in need. So go check out johnchasestudios.com. Grab some stuff if you can. Every item counts, every item helps. If it's a sticker pack, if it's the cheapest item that he has there, or if you want to get all decked out head to toe, he's got you covered. So John Chase Studios, go help a cause, go help a buddy that's helping and doing bigger and better things than both of us put together. So on to our regularly scheduled program. Ta-da, we got this thing. So we are fresh off LS Fest West. We won the 9.0 index class in the drag and drive, and yes, technically it wasn't 9.0, we were high nines, but we were able to put some runs together and the car showed up, did work, we did awesome. So now we are trying to go to Rocky Mountain Race Week 1.0, which is not in the Rocky Mountains. We're gonna be in Texas and Oklahoma on flat ground, and I am 110% confident that this car will do the drive. But the only gremlin that I still have left in this bad boy or bad girl or whatever this thing is the fuel setup, right? So this is a return style fuel system, and you know, the fuel goes out here, comes back there, and then this is my vent tube. We only have 14 gallons. It's supposed to be a 15-gallon eBay fuel cell, but it's like 14. As you can see, we still have room for fun and for activities, and the problem that I have is I have twin Hellcat pumps in here. It pumps a ton of fuel, so then I was taking, and this is my relay for the pumps. I've run both off of one, which we need to change this as well, but this is a 70 amp Bosch. So I just take one pump off, but it still pumps 500 gallons or whatever it is. Whatever the fuel is, it's a lot, right? So you pump it all the way to the motor, and it comes all the way back. Well, after 8-10 hours of driving, whatever it is, stuff gets hot and it heat soaks, and then as your fuel goes down, you know, it just compounds the problem. When it's full, you have a lot of volume, and then as it gets lower and the hours in the car go by, everything gets hotter and heat soaked, and then hot fuel doesn't pump. So on the street, we were getting, especially in Colorado where the elevation is high, it doesn't take much temperature. I want to say fuel starts to boil like 120 degrees, and at like 9, 10,000, 12,000 foot elevation, it boils it even lower than that. So I don't really anticipate a ton of issues. But if we sit in traffic at all, I mean, we could get to that point, and I don't want to be the guy, like, I'm probably going to be the guy, let's just be honest, Dane, but War has their stuff together, and I always seem to be the guy, I'm like, hey guys, I need fuel, hey guys, I need to pee, hey guys, I need snacks. So at least I can take one of those off, so then I'll just be the snack and pee guy instead of the fuel guy, is what we're hoping for. So what we're going to start working on, that was a long-winded way to say, that I want to take this out and split the fuel system, and then I did rewire this if you watched that video, because this wire was getting hot because I had crappy wire. So this is really good wire, and then I'm running off one relay, and this gets warm, but it's not too bad. But technically we should split these pumps onto individual relays, and then on top of that I want to do 2 tanks. So these pumps will be in a separate tank pumping E, and then I'll have the big tank with a small pump pumping whatever garbage fuel that they bless me with on the road. And then that way when we go to race mode, we're pumping pure E, and I don't have to take fuel out, and it's a hazard. Everybody's like, why don't you just use this and just drain your tank? Well, let's be honest, Fuel is very dangerous, very volatile. Being burned is not my idea of fun. You know, I am an idiot, but I'm not that stupid. So I did have to drain the tank at Rocky Mountain Race Week last year, and I was in the pits, and you're in a hurry and you're doing stuff, but I was like, man, having these open canisters and trying to get this fuel out of here and having fuel in the pits like that, it's no bueno. I mean, because anything can happen, and that's why they call them accidents. You know, I was trying and we're doing good, but you don't know, and I don't want to be caught up or have somebody, you know, get hurt or injured, myself, my kids, all that stuff, my son or anybody else's kids or wife for that matter. So I want to make it to where we don't have to, we're pouring fuel in, and once the fuel's in the car, it kind of just stays there. I don't want to have to deal with open containers and fuel in the pits. You know, people could be smoking or doing whatever. Like I said, you're rubbing two sticks together, who knows what people are doing in the pits. But we want to take that safety issue away, and I don't want to boil fuel and be that guy on the street. So what I did do is we went and I found these dudes yesterday afternoon at work. I ran over before they closed, so I didn't waste time today. This is 5052 aluminum, and then it looked like they had some job. They had a whole pallet stacked of these, so I just grabbed a bunch. This should facilitate, I measured, we're gonna have to do our due diligence though. This is 080, so it's a little thinner than I'd like, but we can just put some beads in it, I guess, for rigidity if I feel like it needs some strength. But this should net me roughly a 20-gallon street tank, is what I'm calling it. And then we have enough sheets here that after we get through the street tank, we'll have to figure out the race tank and how to mount it and stuff. So today's gonna be a lot of thinking and tinkering, but I think I'm just gonna go whatever maximum size I can go on that for the street tank. And then the race tank is gonna be like an afterthought. We'll figure that bad boy out. But I'm thinking like, you know, a little 4 or 5 gallon, whatever, you know, and we'll do the dance. So you guys get what I'm saying. Let's measure, look around. I'll give you guys an idea of what we can do maximum size. And then I'm just gonna straight go maximum size on the tank. And we can kind of fold that up. And then we'll get an idea of what we can do for the race tank portion of the program. Whew, that was a lot. Let's go. Sometimes you got to get technical with your measurements to make sure you have enough room for things, right? So you grab your broom and then you do one of these and you go, yeah, we're good. We're good. I'll go a little more in depth instead of just showing you guys for anybody curious, because I realize not everybody does sheet metal stuff. So these are cutoffs, right? So full width of this is 48. It's a 4-foot piece. Sometimes they come in 5, but right, this is 4. So it looks like somebody had a job where they needed whatever sheet size it was, but this was the leftover. And it happened to be 22 wide. So we've got our 22, right? So this is my maximum size sheet that I can do. And what I want to do is bend 2 units and make like 2 U shapes, right? So they cup. So the same thing as this, just a larger size. So this is only 2 pieces of sheet steel. It's this piece and that piece. So because this is our maximum size, I can only, if I want to weld it how this is welded, I have to do it a specific way. So let's show you guys how we kind of go about doing this, right? So we're gonna have, it'll be a rectangle. So let's just go, we'll just make it, oh, I guess this is gonna be terrible already, huh? Nice start, Dane. So let's just do this. So it's a little more rectangle. It's not, you know, terrible, but it's basically going to be a cube, right? I know. We're doing this one-handed live on the fly. What do you guys want from me, right? So this is kind of how you eyeball it, right? So this is our tank. We're going to figure out the fillers and all that other stuff, placement, but I need to figure out size. And this is, I believe, what we can get out of here. So we go like this. So this is our length, I'm gonna call it, and that's 22. So this is front to back. Like if you were in the Malibu, this would be the back. And this over here, width is 20, because we gotta fit, I got these little bars in here that hold it. So I can get inside those just at 20. And this is 19 3/4, but I figure we can squeeze a quarter, make round numbers. Life is easy. And then our scale over here is 10 inches. I wanted to go deeper, but I think that's all we're gonna get. And that is what it is, and I think that's due to the size of the sheets we got. But this stuff was all REM, so it was a good deal, versus if I bought an actual sheet, I would have paid a lot more. So this is our dimension, and then what you do when you lay it out flat, we're gonna have 2 pieces. So one piece is gonna be long, kind of like this, right? and then you'll have your bend here and your bend here, and then these will be like 10 inches here and here, and then this, the inside piece, will be a different dimension. And then the other piece, when you fold it up, because it'll look like a U like this, the other piece has to mate and come fold here and then down. So the other piece will be like this, wide, and then up, right? So then when you put two U's together, they'll cup together to make a box. So let me figure out my dimensions, and like I said, I think this is the maximum size we can make, but I will triple check it before we just start wasting material. So I figured I would share this. This is a better rendition. So when the sheet's flat, before, these represent the bend lines, right, to make your U here and your U here. So 22 inches is the size of the tank, but then the height is 10. So you have to have two sides to it. So it's 10 inches, 22 inches, 10 inches, and that says 42, which is basically this whole sheet. And then we only need 20 inches wide, so we just cut a 2-inch strip off that, and then this is our piece. And we put a bend at 10 and a bend at 10, and that gives us one part. And then the other piece is the different width, because it goes, you know, lengthwise instead of widthwise. So now you're 22 wide, right? So this is a 48-inch sheet. So we'll cut that down at, well, technically we have to spin it. So we'll do the 22 width, which is the full width of this, right? And then it's 40 inches total. So we'll actually lop off 8 inches on this side and then bend that up, and that'll be the mid piece, if that makes any sense. It will when we kind of build it, but that is the hope for what we're doing. So we will, it's actually really simple, man. Aside from the fact I can cut it this way, I've got a stomp shear back there, so we'll get this cut good, but this long cut, I just have to do it by hand because I don't have anything wide enough to cut it. So we'll have to do a straight line, and then we'll have to fudge it and sneak up on that one. So that sucks, but I mean, we should be able to fold this thing up fairly quickly, and then we'll just figure out what I'll show you too is it's back here. I've got this bad boy, Amazon special. Look at how nice this thing is, dude. Alloy works. This is a bad pump that I've saved, so now I know the depth, so we're about 8 inches deep on the race tank. And then on the street tank, I'm gonna have to figure out how to extend this because we're gonna be 10 inches. Excuse me, but the race tank will be 8, and this will go in there. So how awesome is this thing? But we'll get there. We're not there yet. Let's go make squares. So this is the top of the tank laid out. We've got the bottom cut, and then these are our bend lines. So you can kind of see, hopefully now, that, you know, this will make a U, and that one will make a U, and you put them together like peanut butter and jelly, and a little bit of booger welds, and we'll have something. But this is the fun one, and we get to do it by hand. If I had a machine, you would just put it in and cut to this line, and life would be gravy. Everything has to be good because we're going to TIG it, so you can't really have any gaps or anything. So we will take our time, and I got extra sheets, and if we can't make it happen, I've got 4 more tries, I think, to make it actually happen. So wish me luck. I'll take all the time I need, and hopefully we can just chug along and stay on that line. So I want to share this with you guys, and this is, you can measure and do your stuff and you're awesome, but it's important to do your little map as reference, because you get going, you get excited, and then I will show you this is wrong. And I caught it before we got too froggy, because I moved on. I was like, oh, let me get my center line, we're gonna be awesome. And I started measuring, and I went, hey, this line to this line doesn't match up, right? Well, I'm a dummy, and we cut this side, and I thought I was good. We got to take 4 inches off of this. So all these marks on here are trash. So we're going to take a step back, erase it with some acetone, flip it over, and then redo the marks, and then continue. But the cool thing is, center line wise, this should fit. And then the idea is to put another tank on top of this tank. So it might look a little donkey, but we're going to try to do our best. But that's what we're going to do. And if you're wondering, we've got a navigator over there washing her car. That was the noise. So let's get after it. And yeah, just take your time, man, and then have your little map. We have reached the midway point of the program where I'm going to go and stop and have lunch because my brain is not working. But here's an easy way to triple check, right? Just before you go to do and bends and stuff, if you lay them over, you can see we've got 10 inches on each one of these because that's the height. And then we'll make a U out of this one, actually on the upswing, up and up, and then we'll swing these ones down, boop, bop, and then that will be a box. And then also, we're gonna do drains and I think a vent, but we'll do that after we make the box. I debated, because then you get trash inside when you kind of weld it, but after you weld it, I can cut the drain closer, because if I cut a hole now, when I'm coming to weld here, that piece is gonna wanna go away and just not be happy. Or if I try to weld it, again, the edge is gonna wanna go away, so it's easier if I get a weld on there, and then when I drill the hole, there's structure there right on that edge, because I wanna get it as low as possible. Same with the vent's not as critical, we can kind of do that now, and we probably will maybe do that one, but I'm also gonna do the big hole in the center, and then that's suffice to say before we bend as well, I'll make the hole for this. We're gonna spend a lot of time fitting it so it fits really nice, and then once that's done, we can actually put this just like this over the top of this one, and then mark where we're gonna land, and then that's where the little baffle can be inside. So this is the bottom. We're gonna weld a little bucket in here. We'll make that too, and we'll get that kind of tacked and welded in place, I think, before we even break these arms up, so that way it's just in there and done. And then when we break it and go, they will line up when I drop the pump in. Life should be good. So that's the plan, but I need some lunch because I get hangry. So I'll bring you back, we'll get a little further, and I'll share with you guys. I'm gonna show you guys this. I'm not gonna show you how to improperly use these, because you could get a blade embedded in your face, but on a circle, like I don't have a hole saw, plus I hate freaking hole saws. So I just pick a mark, we do the square to kind of cut that out, and then you can see you go on the inside, and then I'm gonna sit, we'll get it close, but we won't get it perfect, and then I'm gonna use this and scrape all that stuff out, you know, just beep, 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 and it sucks, and I get it, but my fit should be nice and tight, so my welds can look decent. So cut the square window, come back with however you wanna. I mean, if you do the square, you can probably get in there with like a flap wheel or something. Or, you know, if you're experienced and you want to risk your safety, you can do your deal. I'm not going to promote that, but we will come back and finish with this. So that's kind of, it'd be cool if I could laser this thing and do all the dance, but you know, where there's a will, there's a way. Just take your time. 4-inch grinders, some scrap aluminum, you'll be good. Ta-da! So, I don't know. We're gonna find out if this is the best idea. First time doing something that thick, man, to this. But, yeah, it's fine. It's good enough for government work. As long as it doesn't leak. Please don't leak. We're just, do your thing. And then I button the edges down, so I'm gonna let it really cool down, but I think this thing's gonna be like boop, 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 boop. Like it's not gonna be happy. So I'm hoping when we put the brakes in it, it kinda straightens it out, but I think this edge is going to be a pill when we try to put it together as a tank. So we'll see. Hopefully it's like up instead of down, so I can push on it and tack it, because if it's down, that'll be kind of a pain, but we'll make it happen. You can hear it creaking, dude. Yeah, this thing's hot. My freaking glove was all smoking. Look at that. Amateur hour, man. These are some pieces I actually cut off of the piece that we're making that out of. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm sure somebody on here might have a better idea, but we're all going to be done when you guys see this. So this is my drive pump, right? Just a 255, little casual gym over here. Look at this guy. Look at that baby. So this is going to go in the tank, and the reason I opened it is that there's the little sock, right? So if we grab a measurement, we just eyeball her. This is about a 4-inch deal, right? And then width-wise is nothing. It's skinny, but 4 inches. So my idea for a little baffle dude is to, I got this piece that was cut off. Actually, this is a larger piece, but I cut it 8x8 square, and then just mark 2 inches all the way around, and we'll bring these all the way across. That's going to give me squares on the end. So if I cut those squares out, we can fold all these up, and I'm going to have a little 2-inch basket, right? And then I'll tack all the top edges together, maybe do little stitches or whatever. I'll leave the holes in the corners, so that way the fluid can kind of go out and come in a little bit, but the walls around it, that'll give me a 6-inch bucket with the 2-inch wall around it, and then like I said, we'll leave the corners open so fuel can kind of get in and out. And then we're going to return the fuel into this, so it'll come down, return into this, and then that should help with fuel slosh. That's my idea. I guess we're going to find out if it works. If it sucks, I will tell you guys. If we don't have issues, I will also tell you guys if you ask when we get going. If you follow along with the videos, you're going to know, because we're going to have over 1,000 miles to drive this thing on the street. So I'm either going to be like, Dane, you're a genius, or Dane, you are an idiot. So let's cut this out and I'll show you guys what it looks like. When I laid this out, initially the box is too small, so we just did 1.25 inches. And I feel like that's deep enough, because that's going to be the depth. So this is how you make a box. And then you fold each side up, and Bob's your uncle. The only problem I have is my machine to fold it is behind all that. So yeah, let me get this folded, and then I can only fold 2 sides, and then we'll just beat this one with a hammer and dolly. One day we'll graduate and I'll get a box pan brake. I should have one, but you know, all the room for activities that I got, right? So here's a little guy that we'll weld in the bottom of the tank, and then I welded, but I didn't weld the edges fully. So fluid can kind of get in and out, but it should stop it from really, hopefully, moving a bunch of fluid around. But if the fluid gets low, I want it to be able to leak in, and then, you know. And again, it's going to return in there, so it should be able to fill it up even with the little gaps in there. It's kind of what I'm hoping for. And then a quick pro tip: when you are hammering stuff with your hammer and dolly, when you're holding it, don't miss and hit your hand, because it hurts pretty good. So probably should have had that one on camera. It wasn't terrible though, but it was like, oh, that sucked. And then now my thumb's a little sore, but we're good. So I think the next thing is, this is all warped out too, but we'll just kind of heave-ho it and straighten it up as best we can. I think it'll still be okay. But I want to put that over the bottom, find the circle, you know, where that comes through, and that's where this is going to land. So then we'll get this welded to the bottom, and then we can break both of those. Then we're going to cross our fingers, and we should have, we're going to have to fudge it and tack a bunch of them, but I'm really hoping this thing fits together decent. And then this welded like butter, man. So we'll just put the little guy back on for the tungsten, and then we'll just take our time and be all right. I just boogered this on here, but yeah, it lights off really easy. So let's do it. We're bringing all the tips today, because as I'm going, there's stuff that I just do, but I was like, yeah, somebody might wonder about that. So I put Mr. Warpy guy over the top, made my circle, so that's where it's going to land. So that's where the fuel pump and everything is going to sink in. So this is the bottom side of the tank. So, well, if you have a circle and then you have the square, if you put it here, how do you know where you're at? You can't see, right? Well, you just take and extend lines, and then you have a measurement here, here, and here. Or if you're cool and you already had lines on your stuff, you could just line it up. I actually didn't plan that, but I'm just going to pretend like I did. So see all the lines that we had from when we bent this up. So yeah, that's going to be square there. And then I'll just have to decide, I don't know, I might cut a hole in this and then weld it to the bottom, or just grab booger welds on the outside. So I'll debate. I'll just show you guys. I'll bring you back, but we'll get this stuck down, and then hopefully we can put the brakes on both of these, kind of fit them together, and hopefully at least tack it. We boogered the little tray front and back. I figured was enough. And then these brakes were done on my little brake, and then these were the ones I hammered, so they roll a lot more and it's harder to do the welding. So I figured this should be enough for fuel slosh. Let me get that little guy off there so it doesn't end up in my fuel system. But this is my little tray, and like I said, you can see the little edges are open, and the fuel will return into this is the plan. So feel good about it. It warped a little bit, but not too bad. So now we'll triple check our measurement. We should make this brake, and then on that guy we make that brake, and then this will come up and meet the top portion, and the top portion will go down and meet this portion, and then it's just welding. But before we get rolling, I'm going to, once I break this is all the inside, so I'm going to clean all this stuff up good and decent, so when we break it and we go to weld, I have a better chance of being a hero than a zero. So let me clean up stuff real good, and then we're gonna break it, and we should be good. But I'll bring you back when we kind of break it, and maybe we'll set it on the bench and hopefully get a look at something that looks like a fuel tank. Ta-da! So yeah, you could see, I mean, how warped out this thing got from welding. Like it's like a potato chip, but that's besides the point. Hopefully we can kind of get it straightened out enough to weld her up. I want to set this in here for dramatic effect. But hey, you know what? For my first fuel tank, I mean, we're not welded yet. I don't want to speak too soon, but I'm gonna say that we did pretty darn good. This thing, I moved everything so we could bend stuff, and I was gonna put the navigator on camera, but I'm sure she didn't want to be on camera because she's in like cleaning clothes and everything. So she helped me bend it. So I'm glad that I opted to have her help, because there's no way I could have bent it myself standing on either side. And that thing is giving up the ghost. It didn't want to do this. This is only 080. So, And then we will take this guy off here. Set her down. Oh, look, there's my little guy. So right where it should be, it'll go in there. And then again, return, all the stuff will come through here, right? Set this back down so we can feel better about ourselves. So there you go. So I'm gonna plug this one. Hopefully we can cap that, because it's kind of close to electrical, and I'm not gonna deal with it. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter, but anyway, we will do outlet, so each pump, and then we'll return, and then the outlet, and then return. And then I think what we'll do with this, which would be pretty cool, is on the other tank, because it's, well, I don't have it, my imaginary other tank is smaller, and it's going to set up here. So we'll actually use the overflow, and we'll connect this one to the little guy. So if we are boneheads and we don't switch our stuff over, there's enough fuel in here we can overfill the little guy. So if it does overfill, it'll come out of that overflow and then into here. So that way, no matter if we have fuel in both tanks, we have the room to hold all the fuel, right? If that makes sense. That way we don't do anything bonehead. If we get tired and I forget to switch fuel and we start trying to motor or whatever, a little safety measure. And then we'll put a drain on this, and then on the other one I thought would be cool too, depending, because it'll be up here. Maybe I could put a drain coming off like the bottom and then have it go into here, right? If I have it take up the whole width and have the back here, I can just have an AN that comes out here and then goes to like over here and just do like a little bit of fall. So that way if we had to empty this tank, we could just empty it into the big one. If we really had to empty them, then we could just empty the big dog. But all the garbage can, 85, whatever, can all live in here, and we can burn that on the road. And then we'll leave the race gas, E85 or race gas or whatever we get to at some point in the other tank. And then this is my practice tank. My buddy, we're gonna do the same thing, but he's actually gonna L it down, and then it'll sink in like he's going all gangbusters what he was designing. But he has a problem with his boat and he needs to address that, and then we need to go racing. So I said, dude, I will just pull this out and we'll throw it in the garbage can. You let me know. But we're gonna get ourselves to the race. So I'm excited about that. We will finish this up. I probably won't beat you guys up with the welding. We can showcase it on Instagram or whatever. Hopefully you just don't pop any holes in it. That's really all I'm worried about. I don't care if we're stacking dimes. I just don't want to stack leaks. So we'll get that done, and then maybe kind of fit that and everything, and then I can make the other tank after the fact. So I think that that's kind of what we're gonna do. We'll put this in, get everything situated, get it mounted. We're gonna leave it a little bit lower. I'll show you like this guy. So you see all the extra room we have. So we might, because this is already down this low and it's not any lower than my rear end, so I figure we'll probably sink it down a little bit, so and then it'll be flat on the bottom, so we can sink basically down here. I got tubing, and then that gives me more room up top, up here for activities, because this will be lower. And then on this side, this one's going to be another, I think it's 8 inches. So yeah, that is that. That is my grand scheme idea, I think, for a long afternoon. I'm sorry for the video length, but if you watched it, hopefully I showed you some tips, or if you ever wondered how somebody that's an idiot would make something like that, that's kind of how it's done. So until next time, you guys know what to do. Go visit John Chase Studios, get some gear. I'm out.